bunch of people that didn't even fall into my like psychological territory or anything good that I even represent. And I don't even represent anything really bad. The fact is that they wanted something fucked up and I didn't know them. So anyway, but by the end of it, I still look at the situation and I'm like, why do you keep trying to put me on a level with you or comparison with me? And not even just like for help and the other like disgusting shit that you do to try to get me to facilitate your bullshit. It's also just like, what does that add up to? That you keep trying to equate yourself with my self-respect to the things that I do or how I conduct myself. And even by accident, I haven't had like more than 2 people my whole entire life fall in my little bracket of things that I have to do or what I know are just natural responsibilities that everyone has. So I can't count that as like, well, you should have cleaned up after yourself anyway, or like maybe it was better for the world for you not to only help out those two-faced or ride type of motherfuckers. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, and there was a lot of people that actually legitimately knew how to fight back and did appropriate. So it's not like I'm against the fact that they do anything at all. I just have no association with you. I left. I'm ambiguous to it. Everything I can do outside of how stupid and crazy they are is much more effective than why you want a head-on confrontation with them, and I'm just a good attitude. So you like a good attitude. And I have a backbone. That's not good enough to just sit there and use somebody and then try to accredit them with your lame-ass bullshit. I'm just not interested in antagonization and all this provocation and all that bullshit. I'm not into it. Either way, no matter how many different words you have for them. Why do I have such an extensive vocabulary? Your bullshit, it changes a little bit into somebody else more intelligent, and then I'm just like, all you ever did was use them. It's not like I fucking owed you. It's not like they fucking owed you. So then, get out of some philosophies and baselessness that you have no business in and find some other place to etiquette that type of thing that you're doing. It's not mannerful. It's not anything that means anything to us. And then all you find is really great, classy people make you feel like a low-life scumbag. Maybe I want to say something meaner, but just go change as a human being and do some other things or some shit. Like, I just don't owe you. I don't owe them. And by the end of it, like, even when they're smart, I still don't owe you and them. Even if you proved your education to me, I still don't owe. Like, no, I don't owe anybody other than the people that I think that are already like paid their respect to their shit. Like, it would be like pay your dues, except this is far worse than like just leave the fucking thing alone. Because in all my philosophies, like, you're closer to like not doing anything and running away like a fucking civilian would be better and closer to my folder than dealing with how many mistakes you actually make, or those aren't even mistakes. And even the word mistake is still the wrong word, because you shouldn't have taken anything, let alone what you think is their instincts. So, whatever. It's just dumb, unclassifiable fucking shit. And it's like weird because whenever you go high up enough, you hate them, but all you do is find some classy ass people, and even a savage more classy than you stupid asses. You just like making mistakes because you want to be special in some way, and all you had to do was work at it. Find something good to do. Find a title for yourself. Build on it. Even make one up if you can't find anything in the world that suits you. Be a hypnox or go and, well, not really. If you could trust yourself with like why you are so vainly like portraited to a point where it's only to eclipse madness for the sanity, then yes, go ahead and help hypnotize. Because I can even see that some people took some pseudos from me and they went and they did some really clean, nice shit, and I could see what they were talking about. It was like, well, no, I don't have a reason to bother the kid, but I can understand why I'd be whipping myself. And I'm like, all right, that's cool, bro. I'm not into that, and I can understand the other side of those crews. But even when I'm not into something and I just don't go that fucking high up with certain things, it's still kind of like, oh, I can respect and understand that you saw some problem I probably wouldn't tackle because it's obscene, and you took care of that somehow respectfully in a world that wasn't derived from some bullshit and garbage only, and you made something better of that. That's fucking completely respectable. I wouldn't have disgraced myself so fucking much, because it was still kind of like, dude, I can respect that, because it wasn't like you just whipped yourself. You're just in that filing cabinet of people that whip themselves, and sometimes I'm just like, I'm a lot like that too, and you're nearer to me than them, because I know how to self-punish the correct way, but it's kind of like, Who the fuck is worth it when every move is precisely well and you're only here for mistakes that I never made? Like, that's grossly unfair. And even when they do that to embarrass themselves, save us, and take care of them, like, no one really understands the devised point that maybe they just don't want attention, respect, or any acclamation, or even a thank you or gratification. So I'm like, well, still, that's so hardcore respectable that even when they take it the wrong route, that like, this is so beyond making sense that they chose not to make fucking sense with you when they were stuck with you. Beautiful. Ecliptic. It's better than what they're actually doing. So not having an effect on fate or submitting to the fact that we weren't supposed to do that, so you just started abusing yourself when they started to mention beating up fate or doing something wrong to fate or making it improper or like trying to cut the line, motherfucker, even though you go ahead and give a fuck. But like in cool people world, but in like normal world, it's like, yeah, bro, you just cut in front of 5 fucking people, bro. I don't care what his fat ass said. Nah, fuck that. He wants a hamburger too. You get back and then, you know, like all of those things. But even when we're all just sitting there and we're like, nah, dude, that's wrong. I can't do that. It's embarrassing for both of us. Even if you're closer to my personality type, why do you like my weapon so much? It would be like you had made such brutal mistakes in the world that like the cataclysm was the formality of what you had done wrong. So the brick was offended. Like, just stay the fuck away from us. Trust me, you don't need any of this weakness. You don't need any. And the closer you get, and the other people that are more right about other things like implosions and different things like that, of where like things just disappear and come up missing like a little weird thief and shit. Like things just like, you know, forget magically. Why don't you like have a bigger personality than like, oh yeah, the guy who was right before you disgraced himself for the memory of how we all made a mistake because you wouldn't wear it like a fucking coward? Well, then guess what? You're a little bit closer to why we don't like you and don't want to remember you. The other one was even closer than like, we hope we remember that the tyranny of that is that he did not really want life because life became such a disgrace that it was so unworth it that of all the reasons to just want to go take a nap or not be with all of us or you know, be that special and understood, he decided to bow out the properly improper human way to the dysfunction that it was morally. That's somehow respectable, and that's as far as I fucking go. And you know, I can't commend it that much because it was like, somehow you're a heroine, so why would you have done that to us and for us and for what they're not worth? But it's still, I can respect it and whatnot, but that still draws a limit that I will not be in those circles very often, is whenever I do get in there and they just did not understand the savagery that they were implementing on the world with their fucking mistake, then no, I don't owe them more. It's just that. And it's like weird too, because like it still brings us to a point where like failures, okay, so we couldn't stop certain crimes on humanity. And fuck that, you made some money, whatever, I don't give a shit. Prosperity's for everyone who knows they can believe in something, you know, better for the world, including something for themselves and so on and so forth. You know, I'm like, some of y'all be reaching for the sky a little bit too much. Even certain bitches that wanted to buy Hypnox, I'm like, bitch, not for sale. And not to your crazy ass either. And the classy ones did it over, like, just put the money in the other place for something better for the world. Because it's like, what, you want to see me be happy on trash? Because I don't owe them with anything, or them, or you don't owe them anything. So just put it in, like, you know, a foundation. Not in one of those fucking charitable funds. I hate that shit. A foundation is based upon building something progressive. And I'm not like that high class of a low-life loser, but it's just one of the things where, like, the progress is lost because everybody keeps hustling and they learn how to hustle and not actually make progress or do something beneficial for the world, which is all the richest, famous people or the businesses that you never understand. We're like, why the fuck is that the product doing good? It's because those people actually had a philosophy and a discipline for the product, so they're living based upon building their philosophy and something good for their product, and not hindering and doing something disgusting to the world by selling weird troll products that just make everybody annoyed and angry. Even though every once in a while it's understandable that nobody really wants anything to do with fucking business from time to time. But whatever. But it's not about the commercialism, about how evil and stupid some people actually the fuck are. So anyway. And they act like they can't be in a spiritual cage for it. Just because I'm nice doesn't mean that I sit here and I was like, you know how I thought about this? You made like a few mistakes in front of me and then I made a puzzle out of it. Saw that no one figured it out and then I had some weird tactic and I didn't want it. Then after a while, it seemed like the only tactic. Then there was more puzzles, more mistakes, more weird bullshit. And then by the end of it, it's like, did you know that if I was a blackmailing piece of shit, you would just be in jail because I don't give a shit about money that much? Like, it's like, you know, I got shit to do in the world, like, could be fun, or it could be a better place, and we're working on a better place, not a fun one. That's some kind of bullshit. So, you know, eventually this is going to be fun, not like how I took advantage of people and got fun for myself. It's just like I'm going to have to go back to like working on something normal later. So why the fuck would I want it to be a fucking massive, like a bunch of shit that I can't enable myself without like just getting some vain, baseless fucking life for the triviality of money and running off with the fucking money. It's shit like that like could just happen for fun. And it's like, did you know that you have to go back into the world and that money is gone very quickly? I've never committed any crimes like that. I'm just saying these type of things are why people can't like guarantee bet on anything or do anything without the fact that there must be something. There must be some secret to it. Like, you know, take the fucking hint, take the advice. Like, you know, the products don't sell or it was about something. So be about something either way. Like, you're still going to have a life even if you just make it rich selling a bunch of chicken nugget type of crap. Like, you came out with chicken nugget candies or something, and they were like this, you know, kind of a really good breakfast dessert. Why am I, like, working for MIB and shit? And it's like, here's the neuralizer. And then after you came out with these breakfast wholesome, like, you know, brunchy, you know, breakfast chicken nuggets and shit that were like, you know, cheesecake or some shit. It was fucking delicious, and you made like $25 a pop on each one of these, and like you became the greatest hustler and all that. Neuralized and got out of it. Like, what the fuck? Like, what is this shit, right? But like, hopefully, like, live a better life other than I have to convince you to, or like leave you with a hint to. And it's just terrible, though. And how many people did you know in the world that can inspire each other even positively despite all that bullshit, including moments of Violet, which we don't even fucking know. Like, and I'm being an argument with Violet later, so it just doesn't make any sense, but I will be, because it's just going to be like, what the fuck were you thinking when you don't even understand the conduct of why those people lashed out on what was actually wrong with the fucking world, so you still look like an imbecile for thinking that it's cool to, like, provoke people into certain maneuvers where I'm just like, so what, I'm a defensive person. That doesn't mean that I attack you. So, you know, in all of these stories, if you ever hear anything about me using magic improperly, they gonna all have to admit, like, if you ever go to the other spiritual court, all of them don't say anything there because they're just sitting there like, none of them want to admit that, like, you attacked him first, you provoked him first, you did something wrong or obsolete at the time. So, you know, whatever, to throw you away on eugenicists or whatever the fuck you think your mistake was. Because that guy was better than you and never got caught, or you got jealous like again and again as far as I've seen through history. And sometimes I just sit over there like, I don't care what that family did. There's only 2-3 families in this fucking story, and the rest of them that are wearing scars were helped by each other, us and that one family, and then you gonna like turn on them all the time just because you're a jealous bitch and you think it works? What if, like, they wanted you to have money and their donation goes down to the grail of the grave of, like, people who just will never understand what prosperity is? They just want to produce cash or, like, make infinite fake money and shit. Like, you got to have something to do that on. So it's like, I wanted to see a really cool action movie. That happens, too. Go get some cool hypnotic bullshit then. But just make sure it falls within the parameter of, like, oh, you made some money because you made something cool that you liked, that you believed. You thought you were going to make a good-ass 2-action-hour movie. Damn, bro, she didn't attack you back. Or I was being nice. Wasn't attacking you. But anyway, by the end of it, it's like, you know, motherfuckers want to wrestle a lot. And like, get the fuck out of here with that. Anyways, but like, cause I'm not like that. I'm not a touchy person. And sometimes it's just like, I get certain people where they like sit there and they mess with me sometimes. Like, do you even know me? Do you know that it wasn't an illusion? Or, you know, you laugh and you go back to normal. It's like, no, you weren't tripping. Anyway, we went back to living our lives and mind our business, because you're going to have to live with that denial, because I don't have to sit there and lie about fate and what you didn't do to offend me. Anyways, or life or whatever. If I was laying there as a perfect brick the whole entire fucking time, I would be offended that you thought that the road was worth, like, making it all trivializable, that the lifeguard is garbage because he doesn't really, like, blow his whistle as much as you want him to fight you. So, like, blowing the whistle isn't good enough for it to just be a little bit okay. And I'm not talking about no bullshit where, like, hey, man, he had red shoes on and I want to buy some red shoes and I couldn't get some red shoes. I'm talking about some bullshit where I'm like, dude, and, like, fucking, let's say you sideswipe the lane and now everybody is thinking this, like, cruddy-ass shit. and all you want is a pair of red shoes, go Mitsubishi, whatever. And then like go McDonald's, and give a fuck, whatever, right? You know. But then it gets a Best Buy, whatever. And then like, you know, all these different types of things. I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of those businesses. Like, I'm not afraid that they're sellouts or not or anything like that. It can be true, but it's not. Or they have only few different things to do with life. So you can only corrupt things so far and nameless and aliasable to the point where, like, you see what you're doing, you know? Like, it's not even a real commercial. It's not even about anything. It's like, we see what you're doing. You just, like, using crap like it's nothing. And then after a while, if you treat a business like that, I started to realize that, like, you only like businesses because you get to treat shit like trash. You know, like, you don't like your employees. We're not talking about the businesses. We're talking about your type of people that you go in there and buy from. So, you know, a lot of fucking fucked up weird shit with society that could be, you know, properly taken care of. And it's just like the disrespect on life and what we all have to do. So, like, even when the road isn't eroding that way and you sitting there and you know what to do to avoid getting smog into the fucking road water on the side of the motherfucking street by not driving through there with a race car club at night, that water goes right back up into the fucking building siding and all the other shit, and then starts to grow through and involves intertwining with some of the plants, and then all the plant life there looks fake, like some weird ass communities, you know, where the plant life does look fake, but it's real. You know, you can't eat it, you can't live off of it, and then the world is sodium drenched and shit, and we live in a perfect society, but nothing is like seeming as real as like what it took to survive is baseless. Nothing. Not even a rationalization of like next week's strawberries are gonna be fresher because they're coming from a new paradise, not where we just keep doing weird shit like that and then not calling it a war and then hiding behind an inalienable amount of bullshit in order to take care of what, 2 people? And the third one you're thinking about is an innocent family that gets blamed, and then the quiet one who was always kind of in behind chains and shit for no fucking reason still had to go and provide the fact that like he could knock on a jail cell and tell the other one was innocent and then go back to normal before you all realize how vicious the other family is and why they only carrying other people's scars. So the other one that we love and allow to have a beautiful portrait that we love and worship is none of your fucking business how perfect they are. That's how bad the other family is. So don't ever fucking question it. And every kid that they adopt was raised perfectly. So every single time that I acumen some kind of a giant force of power, maybe I don't fucking owe you nothing. You take care of it like you love it, or you shut the fuck up. And then like the rules of the road don't fucking matter because you like to be a fucking dick? Maybe I don't owe you. And what you do to the fucking world before anyone even finds out, like, what you're actually doing to the world and families and all the lives. And then we're sitting here and we're just kind of like, you think that you're going to find him one day and have a great conversation about all the things that you did while he heard you rummaging through all of their respect and names and his respect? And then, or what you were doing to even defend any of us. Why would that matter? We wanted the road clean, so we never said anything. Our reputation doesn't come from like, oh, you figured this out because it was appropriate to fucking go do. To clean. Or clean up after yourself, or do whatever fuck you gotta do. You know, or whatever fuck. But like hustling because like you trash, like, you know what that is. You know where you are, you know what you with, and you know why some of these people even broke down and said stuff to me behind closed fucking doors like you know, what kind of white money is that? The fuck? Well, you know, I ain't that black either, but like, it's still like one of them things where like, you know, a lot of the offensive shit that I've heard in life where I'm just like, you rummage that hard through life and think that like, I may have told that other family. I may have told them, and then they find out and they're just kind of like, when we meet him, like, why do you expect to meet them under my respect and their fucking answers and what they know about life? And you expect to meet them under a good circumstance. They might not even want to meet you. And then I'm just told to like go drop you off into why you're just like in Neverland with everybody else who doesn't understand it. Like, oh, you think I'm just profane because I can deal with a crazy world. No. Like you obviously know that while you're rummaging and doing all that, the people that pop up and just kind of like give you a little shed on light of life is trying to tell you how crazy it is that the whole rational world is forming civilization at all times and not chaos and all these things that you felt safer with. That's like when we couldn't understand what all these people were doing to go and throw their lives away to be negative or to make worse of the world. It was just like throwing your life away. It was like you're sacrificing what for a greater purpose, or you found out because the mistake wasn't anything that your self-doubt of the world wasn't ours. So you were deemed insane or something? We don't owe you. So, go away, take it out on somebody else, and realize that even in a global nationalist, nominalist, I would have to say something about it. So, whatever. Covered all that, and I go back to my own fucking business. Sometimes I don't want it to be about you because it's like your rummaging wasn't that offensive to all of them. So maybe they still hope to meet some people that at least are working on why you had to pass a message quickly, whatever. Leave it somewhere else then or some shit, because he said no. And even like when I'm defending him out of my own cause, I say no. And like people be like, what is he, your bitch? Nah, I'm just like, I don't let trash get near him because it looks like it's getting near me. So, whatever. And they don't even have to know about it. And most of the time they don't until they've realized it's like, oh yeah. And then they hear about it. It's embarrassing to even say, because every soldier would have probably just been like, nah, leave them the fuck alone. You did this and that, and we didn't want you, and we didn't want you. And sometimes we even said, the family said no, because it's just like you took them as spineless because they were already good at everything, and we're like, they could have easily just went and dueled you. Like, they just want you gone, like, from this situation, because nobody else in the soldiers wanted it either. So we didn't even approve you to look at the other family scars that everyone's carrying public anyway. And if you have no shame and grief for that, you are already a very small filing cabinet, but you think that that's the way the world works because they're allowing you to think that the whole world's like that, while other people take their turns like thinking that the world looks good backstabbing each other. Guess what it looked like? Everybody else got rich and stupid. So it's stupid. And so I Hypnox ain't on your side. And even with the diluted bullshit of what their fortune means so much to them, that when it cascades into the real commercialism that they've always dreamed of, it still forms into, no, we're against that. You're a sellout, piece of shit. And like, people always end it there, but then like, if you're gonna be a brute for nothing and you don't have all the power in the fucking world, you still have to stand up and admit it before you can ever use any of my grails, any of their grails, or any of the other families' dominions of things that you probably living off of anyways. So, that's what it's like to invent great things in life and be unrenowned to people. You sign off on that because in the long run, when they get something better from the world, it'll be done right, well, and by real human beings, not by people who are coming from goddamn creed only. And creed is only acceptable because you wanted to do the job well enough that it mattered more than you, not some weird self-mortal disgrace or sacrifice. And every once in a while I use that sacrifice joint because it's like a greater purpose than why the fuck they like to waste my fucking time.